feel like my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Total Apex Media Podcast. I am Michelle, and I will be providing your lifestyles topics today. Corey, who normally would lead things off and does our entertainment topics, unfortunately had something he needed to attend to. And the rest of our lovely cast. Molly will be taking on our gaming topics today. But first up, we have Andrew Kim with our sports. Take it away, Andrew.
Hold on.
Oh wow, that's nice intro. So we got some, playoff potential matchups, and we're only like 3 weeks away for the most part. And I'll be presenting my top 6 games to watch. While we have, the 4 teams on bye, the Patriots, the Giants, the Niners, and the Panthers, who are coming off crazy. I know we didn't talk sports last week, but the Rams were supposed to beat the Panthers, who were 6-6, but the weather in Carolina made the outdoor elements. The Rams are a dome team. They have to travel to the East Coast. That's not always a fun time. That doesn't really translate sometimes, but they got the upset, and we might see a few games like that this week. But first, we're gonna recap last night's game, which was the Lions won 44-30 in a shootout. Well, everyone basically knew it was going to be a high-scoring game because both defenses have had injuries and been struggling the whole year. So this one's like, if you had players in fantasy, you wanted to start like almost everybody in this game. And Jahmyr Gibbs, the Lions running back, he put up like another 30 to 40 point performance for fantasy. And this is like the third game he's had 3 touchdowns, and every other week he either has a 3 touchdown game or he doesn't, and he kind of disappoints. And it's been going on for like the last 6 weeks. It's every other game, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, this matchup was pretty important because basically these two teams are fighting for their potential spot at the playoffs. The Lions are they move up to 8-5, while the Cowboys fall to 6-6 and 6-1 because they tied in a game last month. So they're up to 6. They only have 6 wins. So Dallas will likely not advance to the playoffs unless they win out and then they get really lucky. But yeah, this actually should have been like a Thanksgiving game because normally the 2 teams play anyway in Thanksgiving. So this was kind of like the Thanksgiving hangover on a Thursday. But yeah, it was a fun game last night.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But the next game to watch is both the Steelers and Ravens. They're both at 6-6. They're at the top of the division, which is kind of funny. Like I just said, Dallas might not make it at 6 wins, but the NFC compared to the AFC, it's totally different. The AFC this year is pretty bad, and one of these teams, because they're in their division, is gonna make it to the playoffs with the same amount of wins. But yeah, the spread is Ravens are favored at home, 5.5. It's going to be pretty cold. I don't think there's going to be any snow in Baltimore, but usually these games are pretty nasty. They're lower scoring, so I would probably take the under, and I would probably have the Ravens favorite just because Aaron Rodgers, he's been battling a hand hand or wrist injury, and he did not look good last week. And then I think he broke his nose on a sack. It was really bad, and he still played, but he had a bloody nose. That I should have made that the picture. If I'm being honest.
That would have been an interesting picture to see.
Yeah.
So he basically got kicked in the face through his face guard, through the hole.
Oh
in his face guard?
no, he got sacked, and he basically landed face first, even with the helmet, because of the impact, if players break their nose, actually, if you're falling back,
So,
you're getting
so the perfect situation where the helmet did its job, but at the same time didn't.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, that happens sometimes, but yeah, this I mean, both offenses are struggling, and at the same time, both defenses have been struggling. So you could argue this could be a higher scoring game, but historically, Ravens Steelers, that's normally a pretty low scoring game. I guess the benefit is it's not at night; it's at 1, so on Sunday. So there could be more scoring, but if Lamar Jackson, the Ravens quarterback, he came back to practice, but he's been dealing with a whole bunch of injuries this year, and he missed practice yesterday because someone stepped on him in practice. So it's kind of brutal. So he got to deal with all this stuff, but he came back today in practice. So
it's just not his year this year, is it?
No, it's really not. It's not even his fault per se. Because sometimes, yesterday, last week, he had a rough game in prime time on Thanksgiving on Thursday night. But it was also mental too, because he had a lot of plays where either the guy dropped it, he threw a good pass, the guy dropped it, or the guy's running to the end zone, and a defensive player comes out of nowhere behind him and taps the ball out, and then ball rolls. So there's something called a touchback, which is so in football you're supposed to score at the opposing goal line, the end zone. But if the ball goes rolled back towards that end zone and no player had possession of it, they give it back to the other team because you fumbled it. You don't have possession. And if it goes out of bounds, then it goes to the other team, gets the ball at the other team's 20. So that was a whole touchdown taken out. And then there's another penalty that he threw a touchdown, but it was so they have things called pass interference. So when the ball is in the air, and if you don't look at the ball, including the defensive player, and you touch the offensive player or vice versa, they call that interference. You can't, the ball has to be close enough to where that you both can fight for it. I guess based on what the refs see.
Based on what the ref is looking at.
Right, because there was
Interesting.
Yeah. This is why all the fans we all complain about the refs after every game, because I don't know if it's gonna get better or worse or whatnot. It's just what it is. But yeah, there is a touchdown called back where a smaller receiver he, I guess, like had a push, like a very slight push. And normally that is like 50-50. Like it could get called, it might not get called. And like none of these penalties are like reviewed, or if they are reviewed, if you lose that challenge, you lose a timeout. And you get only 3 timeouts per half. So it's very important for time management before the end of the half to have at least like 2 or 3 timeouts. Like you really want to. So it was just because I feel like a lot of bigger receivers, like players like 200, 210, 220, they get away with it because they're fighting for the ball, they're using their size. But that's a different issue. Because this receiver was he's about like 190, like at best. On a good day, he's like 190. So he's not the biggest guy compared to some of these other receivers. But I just dropped a lot of football stuff like real quick.
No, it's good stuff.
No, it's good stuff.
I used to watch a lot of football in high school because I was in marching band, but I didn't know what was happening down there.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. But yeah, we have another division game. This is basically just important. This could be for the division. I think this is their first matchup. They play at the end of the year too, in like 2 weeks. And the Colts had the hot run. They started with like 6. They were like 6-0 for a while, or 7-0, and then the last like 3-4 weeks they've dropped games. Their quarterback Daniel Jones he's playing through a fractured fibula. I don't know like how you can do that. Like I don't know what type of pain medication he's on, but he's playing through it, and he was okay last week. He just didn't run. Like because he's actually like a pretty mobile guy, but they just told him last week like do not run, and he didn't. And I mean, he was fine. Like, he played okay, so he's going to play this week. And this is a pretty important game. The Colts are favored by 1.5. I would probably tilt the Jaguars, just because, like, I don't know, it's weird because the Jags are a team this year. They're a very good team with a new head coach, but I don't know if they're good or not. They've just been finding a way to win these games. And it's not because of the quarterback. Trevor Lawrence's still kind of bad, but he's not that good. So they've just been eking out these wins. And the over-under 47.5. If it is going to, I think earlier this year there was a game delay with a thunderstorm in Jacksonville. If that happens again, I would probably, or if it's like heavy rain, I would probably go with the under. But if it's clear, then obviously, like, both teams are pretty good offensively to where they can score points. But yeah, the Jags have won 3 straight the last 3 weeks, and they've been looking pretty good. I don't know if both these teams are like legit as like Super Bowl contenders, but this year, I don't know if you've heard, but this year might be like one of the few years where there's like so much parity where we can't tell like a good team objectively to a bad team. Like it's every other Sunday. It's every Sunday. So you never know. This could be a fun game.
Anybody's game.
Anybody's game at this point. But we're working on a broken fibula.
Yeah.
That is the definition of built different, I guess you could say.
It's the definition of crazy.
Yeah, this is the definition of crazy. And he's having to be warned, don't run, which means that if he could get away with it, he would run, and he would have all of his managers going, "Oh my gosh!" So,
I think in practice they're probably play call, like they're basically taking out like their normal like running QB plays. They're just adjusting the playbook. But I mean that kind of shows how I've heard a few people say like the backup quarterback position is like it's pretty important. Like, I know teams try to go cheap and they, have rookies but even still, like the Colts they know that if, Daniel Jones, like, he cannot physically play, like, it diminishes like winning football games, like, pretty hard. Like,
it diminishes the quality of their plays.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So that's why they're just gonna force him in there, and hopefully he doesn't take a bad sack and doesn't get hurt.
I would say, isn't that like a misuse of company property? No, I'm just
no. They do have to get cleared by their team doctors.
I see. Okay, as long as they got permission, I guess.
And like the guy's okay. He wants to go in. So
I mean, if he's for it, then no one can stop him. So
right. This could be another weather game in Buffalo, New York. And now you would say, like, oh, a 4-8 team versus an 8-4 team. Like, why is this a game we should watch? Well, that's because mathematically, because the Bengals are in the NFC North, I just talked about, where the division leader is 6-6. If the Bengals win out and both the Steelers and Ravens like lose most of like 2 of their games, they have a shot to technically come back. So, and Joe Burrow came back last week against the Ravens and he looked very good, coming off of his turf toe. It's I don't know, it's crazy because like you think fractured fibula, like he's got to miss like a few games, but Joe Burrow's missed like a whole month because of turf toe. But that is something like it's not even fully healed. He's just managing because they put like a steel insole in their boot so they don't jam their toe into the ground. So it's like I don't know, the difference between those two injuries is crazy. But so Buffalo's favorite at home, 5.5. 5.5. The over-under is 53. If it snows, the funny thing is, if it snows, that isn't gonna diminish the over/under because that actually could mean more offensive scoring, like compared to rain, where the players try to catch the ball. The ball's like way slicker in rain versus if it's legit like powder snow. If it's not sleet, sleet is completely different. I would consider that more like rain, but in actual snow, it's better for the offensive players because all the defensive players are just slipping and falling because they have to predict where they're going and stuff.
Huge slip and slide.
Yeah. But yeah, we might see a prime.
I never watched that.
Oh yeah, they have a few every year. It's just like it's always like in Chicago or Buffalo or Cleveland or Cincinnati, like obviously somewhere north. But yeah, those are fun. But yeah, the Bills they're coming off a win over the Steelers, which was kind of close for 3 quarters, and then once Rodgers he kind of came out for a few plays, and then so the QB I showed 2 weeks ago for the Steelers, the guy with the mustache, Mason Rudolph. Yeah, so he came in and right away he threw an interception to the other team. Yeah, he is not good.
Talk about a mind. I can't say the word, but that had to screw.
Mm-hmm.
That had to screw up his psychology for that. It's like crap.
Yeah, like as soon as he came in, it flipped the game. Like that's why Aaron Rodgers is like 42 years old and he's dealing with all these things, but he has to. They have to play. They have to keep winning to make it to the playoffs. So, the Bills they're a good team. I think their defense is suspect still, and like other than last week for the Bengals, the Bengals defense is pretty bad too. So this could be a fun, high-scoring game, but mostly like on the running side, maybe.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, and then speaking of another, this is going to also be another cold game. I think.
Wait, Andrew.
Yeah.
Before you continue, is that a turkey leg?
Yes,
In his
that was
hand?
probably. Yeah, that was last Thanksgiving. That was Thanksgiving.
Okay, I mean, kudos. He's my favorite football player now.
Oh yeah. Well, usually after every Thursday Thanksgiving game, they have to the winning team they get the turkey. Losing team doesn't get
snap.
anything. Yeah, losing team doesn't get anything. They have to walk off.
Aw.
But yeah, they have the player interviews, and they have a giant turkey, and then all these players get a share of it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But this is also probably going to be for the division. I think they also have to play later this year, unless I'm mistaken. Again, but yeah, the Bears they're the top NFC team. I think that hasn't happened in like a decade. If I'm pretty sure like that hasn't happened in like a decade. So this is kind of like new territory for Chicago with a first-year head coach, also. So he basically has turned it around, and this is going to be a fun one. The Packers are still favored at home just because they have like the more experienced head coach. It's in their building. It's going to snow, because Caleb Williams is a second-year guy. Like he still has he's a younger guy. He still has development to work on, but yeah, like you see here, Green Bay coming off 3 straight wins, but the Bears are coming off 5, so it's going to be a fun one. I think the Packers line is kind of too high. I don't know. I think I would go the over, but then I would also go Bears to cover, because I think if the Packers win, it'll be by like 3 points, or it would be by 6, but not break the 6.5.
Okay. One day I'm gonna get you to explain the whole GB and O over and under thing, like off camera, because we don't want to bore the people that actually do know what you're talking about. But
no, it's really easy. So I just put GB just for Green Bay. Like I put the favorite team, and then the minus is for the favorite is what the favorite team has to win by in order to cover.
Okay.
So I could put Bears, but then it would be plus 6.5. Like it's like the reverse. So yeah. And then the OU is just over under. So the total team, both teams, their total point score is either over the number or over the other number or less than the number.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the small little mini lesson. I learned something new today.
Yay, we learned something.
Yeah, that's always the goal. But yeah, so for Sunday Night Football, this is kind of surprising knowing that, the Chiefs, they've been all these Super Bowls with the same guys kind of, but this year, if they don't win this game, there's a high chance, there's like a 19% chance that they actually have a shot at the playoffs. So, and this is like the first time in like 6 years that, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, they've missed the playoffs. Travis Kelce, the whole Taylor Swift thing, like that whole thing, that might not happen this year. If the Texans can pull off the upset. This is a divisional AFC playoff rematch from last year where the Chiefs beat the Texans pretty badly. But the Texans defense this year is top 3 in the league. They just got their quarterback back with CJ Stroud. I mean, their backup didn't even play that bad anyway. So the Texans team they're getting pretty good at the right time. So they're also fighting for a playoff spot at 7-5. Because both the Colts and the Jaguars, who are in the AFC South in their division, so they're trying to get either the last place wild card team or win the AFC South in the division. So this is an important game for both. I mean, I might be a Chiefs hater. I think I would go the Texans, and I think I would go the over under is pretty low, but I would probably go the over just because the Chiefs offense because they did lose to Dallas, who just lost to the Lions last week. So. But it wasn't because of the Chiefs' offense. It was more of their defense. So both teams they could have high scoring potential. So that's what I would go with. But I have to ask, what do you think about the Chiefs? Because I know you might not be familiar with football, but everyone knows the Chiefs at this point.
Not gonna lie, the only time
really?
I actually pay attention to the Kansas City Chiefs is if I'm listening to a song that the Red Kingdom song from the one rapper. I cannot remember his name, but I love that song just because. And he's a huge Chiefs fan. That's why he wrote the whole song. But
okay. Yeah, I'll put it to more perspective. Basically, the Chiefs in the last 6 years have either won or have been to 4 of those Super Bowls or 5.
Wow.
So they're like the Patriots, like Tom Brady Patriots. They're rivaling that dynasty.
Oh, okay. So they're basically like shoo-ins for the Super Bowl with their team makeup, usually.
Besides this year,
Besides this year?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're rooting for the Chiefs to go, no. While the Texans are like, just do it because I don't want the Chiefs to win. But
it's somebody else's turn.
It's somebody else's turn. Yeah, for real. I do realize that Tom Brady, the dude that's been going to the Super Bowl way too many times, a lot of football fans that I have heard have complained about him just winning too much. And I'm like, okay, I can get behind that. You want to see your team win. I completely understand. I'm from Georgia, and my team is the team that people support in Georgia is the Falcons, and they don't do too well. I think we went to the Super Bowl.
I guess the
once in the last 5 years. So no, so.
Things gonna get interesting here in Chicagoland if the Bears do very well.
Yeah, I remember the Bears last being in the playoffs or a Super Bowl like when I was a kid, growing up, first watching football. It's oh yeah, the Bears, they were in the Super Bowl. No, but speaking of Brady, real quick, he's actually a Fox announcer now.
Oh really? Did he finally retire?
Oh yeah, he retired years ago, but
okay. Because
he won
every time. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so he won all those Super Bowls with the Patriots. Then he went to Tampa Bay and won, I think it was 1 or 2 Super Bowls, and then he retired. But it's crazy. He just, he just keeps winning. But yeah,
it's dude, take a break for real. Slow down. Enjoy the rest of the prime of your life because you're about to be going into the ages where you're going to break a hip if you're not careful.
Right.
Well, in the sense of he has put his body through so much stress and pressure because of the training. I have seen football training. It is very grueling. He is going to have really bad arthritis in his joints in the near future.
Oh, yeah.
So take a break, dude. So yay that he's an announcer now.
Yeah. The Tom Brady era, in the NFL in general, when he retired, it did end not great. They did win the Super Bowl and then he retired. They tried one more time and then that kind of it was a year. It was either that year or the year before or after. That was when Giselle broke up with him or whatever. That kind of coincided with everything.
Yeah, I kind of heard a rumor about that, like when that had happened, just in passing. They said that he had gotten a hex put on him because his wife broke up with him or something like that. Somebody was mad that he kept winning. They're like, yeah, no, we're not. We're just gonna do that. Do not quote me. That was just a rumor that I found on the internet while people were complaining about Tom Brady. So just don't pay attention to me.
It might track, but yeah, I think the last game we got is Monday Night Football. Speaking of injuries, the guy on the left, the Chargers quarterback, Justin Herbert, he fractured his hand last week, and he's like right after the game, he like said, "Oh, I'm going to be playing next Monday," and he did surgery on like last Monday or Tuesday, last Monday or Tuesday, and he literally he's been practicing. It's his non-throwing hand. I think that's why. But still, you still need to grab onto the football with two hands. Mm-hmm. So he can be playing this game. I think at this point it's like a 75% chance he's going to play. But yeah, both teams are 8-4. The Eagles, they won the Super Bowl last year, and I know it says 8-4, and that sounds good. They're 8-4, but their games are ugly. They are winning. They just lost on Black Friday last week badly, but even their wins, they're winning ugly. The offense isn't gelling. The defense has some injuries, and they're struggling. So, yeah, this is going to be kind of an interesting game. The Eagles are favored away in LA, but I would probably in LA they're favored by 2.5. It's kind of interesting on these games because it's I don't know. It's honestly a 50-50 because it's not even about injuries. It's just who shows up, and that's what I was saying with parity. There's so many close teams playing each other now that the Chargers have been good. They had a slump because of they had their offensive line is banged up, but then at the same time the Eagles defense has some injuries, and they played very bad last week. So will they rebound? I don't know, probably, but it's kind of interesting. The over-under is 41.5. I think just because it's in a dome, I would probably go over. But at the same time, both offenses have had struggles. So I guess if you want to bank on if Herbert gets hurt again during the game, or if the Eagles struggle on offense, then I can see both sides to taking the over or the under. But I'll probably lean the over on most of these games.
Okay, I hope it never happens, but one day you're going to be watching football, and I'm just going to get a message in the chats from you, Andrew, going, someone's hand just got chopped off, and guess what? They're still playing.
Yeah,
and we'll get it out so that you can read it on Total Apex Sports, but it's going to be talked about in the Slack channels first.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it has more to do with, December. People say, the NFL doesn't start till Thanksgiving because all these games are basically, must-win games. This is, the playoff push. Which, other than Week 18, which is the final week, a lot of teams, unless they have playoff, implications, they usually rest their players. And they just put in all backups because it actually doesn't matter if they win or lose. But at least for this week and next week, most of the players are going to be full go.
All these guys, it reminds me of the Black Knight and Monty Python. It's just a flesh wound. I'll continue fighting you. Come back. I'll bite your kneecaps off.
You have no arms. What the flesh wound?
You have no arms. How are you going to hold the football? I'll bite it in my teeth. I will.
Yeah, the football has definitely changed as a sport. It's not as bloody as it used to be, but players still get tackled hard, hit hard, bloody noses, broken limbs, and whatnot. I mean, at the very least, they are doing a decent job at like concussions with a spotter, but it sucks for like fantasy football because once the guy gets like flagged for a concussion and he doesn't clear the protocol, he's done for the game. Like there's nothing, like you don't get any points for that if he leaves the game at that point. So yeah, I mean that's just more for like a fantasy best perspective. But I mean for human side, yeah, that's obviously better. They're doing slightly better job with finding and noticing like head injuries because you don't want like another like DeMar Hamlin situation or Tua situation. That one's pretty bad. But yeah, if it's like a body part, like they're gonna probably try to play as much as possible. I mean, they get a lot of painkillers during these games.
Indeed.
Well, at least they are dedicated to their whole entire job and craft, I guess you could say. So
yeah,
the craft of
very dedicated.
Very dedicated. Their dedication scares me.
right. We're gonna talk about a little bit about some DFS fantasy football redraft. Before I move on, do you know what the difference between the two? Or, I mean, I probably should define the two things. So
No, you go ahead.
yeah, so fantasy football is basically branched off to like there's other variations of it, but the main two that at least I play are redraft, which is you draft a team before the season starts, and then you go with that team the whole year. You could trade, add players, whatever. DFS is like more salary based, so you're like condensed with a certain amount of salary that you can spend. So it's all about like strategy, and it changes every week. It's for every set of games, so it differs every game. So yeah, I find both are pretty different in how you play them, but they both have their perks and they're both pretty fun, I would say.
Not for me. I have horrible luck with choosing stuff, so I'll leave that to the people that actually have luck for that on them. But it's an interesting topic. I might have to sneak over to Apex Fantasy and Bets just to maybe get some luck myself if I choose the right articles to read.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy and stats you can go off of, but and sometimes it's just random. Like a player gets hurt, and you happen to start the next guy, and then he goes off because the other guy got hurt. There's luck involved. But it's more of like the strategy for DFS does take a little bit of luck out of it compared to redraft, but they're both involved.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah. So the article I pulled this from was from our best fantasy writer Jordan Ramos. He does our main slate stuff, and he picked out a few starts and sits, and then so stacking is this is mostly a DFS thing, a daily fantasy football thing. It's mostly where if you take a quarterback, you kind of want to pair him with one guy that catches the ball from the quarterback on the same team. So that the points like stack, they stack up like literally, like you get, it's almost like a double, like a multiplier type situation. So he has the Seahawks. They're playing the Falcons this week, who gave up like a lot of points to the Panthers a few weeks ago. So they're a good matchup. And then the Packers against the Bears. The Bears have a few injuries on their defense, so that could be a higher scoring game. So his starts at quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end are Bo Nix against the Raiders. The Raiders defense is pretty bad. It's like a bottom tier defense. Quinshon Judkins, the Titans are a bottom tier. You'll see a theme. The Titans are a bottom tier run defense. Nico Collins for the Texans. The Chiefs have been struggling against the pass this year, and Isaiah Likely. The Steelers have been gashed by the tight ends, but it's also like due to like salary, because you can't always get all the high priced guys in DFS because you're capped with a certain amount of salary. So what this is more of like strategizing, like, oh, which position do I want to spend up? Which one do I want to, go bargain hunting and, take my shots and hope they go off. So yeah. And then the sits, like I mentioned, Trevor Lawrence, like he's been okay, but there are other cheaper and better QB plays for DFS this week. And I mean, in general, he could struggle at any time. For DeAndre Swift, the Packers are a top 10 run defense. So, and also the Bears, they split their carries with another running back. So usually for running backs, you want the guy that gets like all the carries, all the volume. If it's split, it's kind of harder to tell who's going to go off at one time. And then for receiver, DK Metcalf against the Ravens, it's not a bad matchup, but, his quarterback is, Aaron Rodgers, and if he goes down or anything, like, the fun thing is Mason Rudolph threw that pick because he was trying to throw to DK Metcalf. So I don't know. I don't have any faith that he's going to rebound and bounce back in fantasy. He's been kind of not a good fantasy option this year. And then TJ Hawkinson against the Commanders, he hasn't been good all year. But because of that, in DFS, if a player doesn't do well, they drop their price, which entices people to potentially go for them because they're lower in cost. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're good at football, if you're not good at football, like that does matter. Like you have to actually, like there's a certain amount of stats and matchups you can base off of till you'll just be like, I'm just not going to play this guy. I don't care how much he costs. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this week's football preview. I'm looking forward to it.
Sweet. Can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Michelle, I think you're muted.
I'm muted. Oops.
Yep, you're muted.
Talking to myself. Sorry. Thank you, Andrew. That was great information. We've learned a lot about football today. All right. So even though our entertainment host Corey is not here, he did drop us a little piece that he'd like for us to share. So we're going to go ahead and lead off with a little bit of entertainment news.
Hey, everyone. Sorry I'm not there for the show today. I have some kind of important things going on right now, but I wanted to take a moment and mention the passing of Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, who everybody, if you've ever seen Mortal Kombat, was a staple on the Mortal Kombat legacy. So I just want to say, first off, foremost, he was the face of Shang Tsung. Whenever we closed our eyes and saw, that bad guy, he was the face that popped into our head completely. Yeah, they've had other actors play him in the video games, but, even he came back for a video game for Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. So he's kind of the definitive face. And he came back for the Machinima show for Mortal Kombat Legends. He's also done other movies like Empire of the Sun, of course, and showed up in a bunch of different stuff. And honestly, he was probably one of the most intense actors that you would see on screen. his stage presence kind of commanded you to kind of pay attention to him, and that's what you want in an actor anyway. But he did it so well, So rest in peace.
All right, and thanks to Corey for that piece. Yes, rest in peace, sir. You're definitely going to be missed. If you want to read more, of course, Corey has also put an article on totalapexentertainment.com, so go and check that out. And to learn more about this amazing actor who has left this mortal coil. Yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Okay, so
all right, so that's what we've got for entertainment today, but Molly is going to take it away with some gaming news.
Oh, there it is. I'm still working out the kinks. I'm still working
Forgive
out
our technical difficulties.
I apologize. Okay, so if you are a true gamer, no, not really. I'm being very, very elitist about this. Anyway, if you recognize this picture, then you are going to recognize what I'm about to say. But first and foremost, I am Molly. I go by Molly the Game Nerd on all my socials. But this is an image from a game, indie game called Iron Lung. And this game is basically about your character is a prisoner who, in order to get time off his sentence, is kind of locked into a very narrow submersible, and it is your job to figure out why that there is a whole blood ocean on a planet. So you're trying to figure out the mystery behind that. On top of the fact that all life within the entirety of the universe is gone. It's only a few humans left. I don't know what we did wrong, but apparently all the universe just went bye-bye. But this game was created and was developed and published by a David, and I apologize if I mess his name up, but I tried to learn it. David Shemansky. I apologize. But he this game went off a few years ago, and it was so popular that even a celebrity by the name, YouTube gaming celebrity by the name of Markiplier, loved it so much that he decided he was going to self-finance a movie for it. So he has developed a whole movie for this game that he loved so much. And what's even better is that he teased this. He teased that he said he was going to do it back in April of 2023. Gave us a trailer of October of the same year, and then he kind of went incommunicado with it. He didn't want to leave anything out. The only way sometimes that you could hear him talk about it is if you're watching his own podcast that he has with his friends Bob and Wade, who also are YouTube personalities. They're big in the gaming field as well. And he would talk about how working on his other movies, his other YouTube movies, In Space with Markiplier and A Heist with Markiplier, which are hilariously funny and are pick and choose your journey style games. So basically it's like this huge web of videos that if you click on them at a certain scene, you'll go immediately to that, and it's all these different outcomes. But that's not the point. The point is that that was the only way you could get any hint into what Markiplier was doing. And my hat keeps wanting to fall off my head. But the most iconic one, the one that made me laugh so hard, was that he talked about how much fake blood he had to order for the Sea of Blood in the game, to the point where he is actually starring in this movie. He was submerged in the fake blood, and it stained his eyeballs, the white part of his eyeballs.
Oh wow!
And actually gave him, I guess, they even actually gave him a ear infection with how much he was in it. But everyone was just like, dude, what happened to your eyes? Because he was in the hospital for it. And the doctor's just like, it's just dyed red. I should have searched for his image, because he actually did post it on his socials. Like, I'm in the hospital again, because he's usually in the hospital like once every year or so. But
Oh my goodness.
but the most important thing, the reason I brought this up, is because his mom, the ever so lovely Mama Plier, as she's called, that everyone decided to call her, posted on her own Instagram that she was watching the premiere of Iron Lung at an Alamo, an Alamo Draft House Cinema. I don't know where, because I can't remember where he was filming it at. I'm pretty sure that's where the premiere would be. And I apologize that I couldn't get that information as quickly as I could. But it was only open to cast and crew and probably a select individuals that are in Mark's inner circle and everything. But that means that there is a probable release date in the near future. And everybody, including myself, have been kind of just like waiting for the Iron Lung to come out, because we've seen what Mark can do, and he's become pretty talented at filmmaking. He's very good. He has a very wicked sense of humor. And I can't wait to see what he does for this very serious horror game-esque scenario.
Wow.
Because this thing, it's very... I only watched it. I couldn't play it, but it was very claustrophobic, in my honest opinion, because you're literally stuck in there. The only way you can see out, because that is supposed to be a window. No, it's not. The only way you can see out is when you take a snapshot of certain grid points to figure out what's outside of you. And you hear a whole bunch of noises. A whole bunch.
Wow, creepy.
Very creepy. But we're excitedly waiting for any release announcement. We're hoping that this premiere, his mom, great PR. She was just like, hey, we're outside this Alamo movie theater, and we're about to go see the premiere of Mark. I think she called him Marky. Mark's. She can get away with it. Mark's movie, and I was like, great PR, Mama Player.
Oh, that's so sweet.
We have
Mama.
We have an article about it on Total Apex Gaming if you want to read more. But I was just really excited to share it with everybody. But also download it. It's pretty short-ish game if you don't factor in how you traverse the game. But it's not very long. But it's got a surprise at the end that you're just like, okay. So I do recommend playing it if you're able.
With the lights on?
With the lights on if you're easily scared by jump scares.
Lights on.
Lights on. Yes, lights on. But honestly, almost everything I'm talking about, I'm kind of tying it into entertainment, because the next one is Helldivers. If you are an extraction shooter, if I'm correct, because apparently extraction shooter has its own little definition and everybody uses it wrong. But extraction shooter Helldivers is actually getting its own movie adaptation, and they've already picked a director for it. His name is Justin Lin, and if you're a huge movie buff, he was the director for the Fast and Furious film series along with Star Trek Beyond. And fans are kind of up in the air, I guess you could say, because they're demanding that he play the game first, on the assumption that he has not played them yet.
I'd say that's fair.
Well, yeah, it's fair, because a lot of movie adaptations of games have kind of just gone into the toilet, because I don't know why they go in the toilet. They're just really bad half the time. Like Tron, the Super Mario Brothers in the 80s. I love that movie, by the way. I'm not dissing it. I'm just saying that it was not true to form when it came to the actual game. But so they're hoping that he's playing the game. The developers of Helldivers aren't really going to like make him play it because he's going to be the director no matter what the fans say. But we're hoping that he does play at least a little because this fan base is huge and they take it seriously, as serious as the Super Earth soldiers that Helldivers are. If you hear what I was saying and you know what I mean, then you are probably playing too much Helldiver. So, yeah. And into the next movie, if you are excited like I am, Chica from Five Nights at Freddy's. This one's from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It is releasing today. You can watch it today, I guess, on the select areas that you're watching it on. And it is, today, December 5th, 2025 is its release date. And it is set a year after the FNAF 1 game, or FNAF 1 movie and storyline phrase. And basically, Mike has kept the secret of what happened to his little 11-year-old sister's animatronic friends. And like a typical 11-year-old, she blows caution to the wind and goes to find out herself what happened. Goes back to Freddy Fazbear's and puts in a whole set of events that starts to unravel the actual devastating origins of Freddy Fazbear's and William Afton and everything. And we all know who was the big bad in the first one if you watched it. I can never remember his name, but he played Shaggy in Scooby-Doo. I cannot remember his name. I'm very bad with names. But he is a complete game nerd.
I think it was Matthew. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can look that up real quick.
I should have looked up his name, but I was
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard. He is one of my favorite actors, even though I hardly remember his name half the time. But I'm very bad with names in general, so that's my fault. But he is the big bad. He was the William Afton of that. He's a huge game nerd as well. Tabletop video games. Dude has his own alcohol brand that's based off of D&D. So he's definitely right for the job.
Gotcha.
So, and then on another one, any questions so far?
It's a scary movie. I'm going to avoid it.
Oh, it's not like scary because honestly, the first one wasn't that scary.
No.
No, it's like it had jump scares, but they weren't like over the top jump scares. And when the main characters actually do interact with the animatronics, the little sister Abby, her name is Abby, she becomes friends with them, and so they don't go after her brother because she's like, no, he's a good guy, right?
Oh,
so
it's more funny. Like it's not really too.
Yeah, it wasn't scary.
Okay.
Like it was true to the storyline without being like a complete copy paste. Like it was a good balance because there were scary things to where people did lose their faces to the animatronics because that's what they do. But you have to understand if you're like huge into the FNAF lore of why these animatronics are like possessed by something that just wants to hurt everything. It's because they themselves are people that were hurt and they got stuffed into animatronics. So you know the lore, and it's sad, but it makes for very good gaming content. Let's just put it
Vengeful Ghosts.
Vengeful Ghosts, yes.
Perhaps I will watch the first movie with the lights on with the boyfriend.
I do recommend you watch like the original game. Markiplier is the unofficial or the official king of Five Nights at Freddy's because he was one of the few that beat like the hardest level in one of the FNAF games.
Mm.
And so their videos are pretty good, but it's just the reason why the movies aren't going to be like true to the form of the games is because the game is basically a point and click, make sure that nothing's coming at you. So most of the lore is found through like papers and videos that you find throughout the game that just pop up in sequential order and stuff like that. But I do recommend it. I'm gonna watch it if I can afford to. If it's on, like, it's not gonna be on Netflix, but you know what I mean. But let's see the next one. And this one is about Destiny 2, another type of extraction shooter. I call it an extraction shooter, at least, because that's what you'd have to do at the end of every mission. You have to be extracted. And this was written by one of my writers on the gaming site, who's slowly becoming our authority on Destiny 2 and all of its shenanigans. But Destiny 2 Renegades, the newest expansion for the game, hit an all-time low with the opening day of their newest integration into Renegades, which is a Star Wars themed expansion, where but don't let that be a reflection on like Star Wars fans or anything. It actually has nothing to do with Star Wars. It's because of the Edge of Fate expansion that happened just before this, because it had a very choppy start. A lot of gamers, fans of Destiny 2, were not happy with how they implemented a lot of the stuff. It was very janky, I guess you could say. They were not, they just weren't happy, and they started slowly leaving the game and causing it to go into a downward spiral. So people weren't as engaged with Destiny 2, especially when we got other extraction shooters that are like way better. Because Destiny at this point is like a pretty decently older game. But they're hoping that this like a lot of us are hoping, like with Devin, as Devin said this, that this expansion could hopefully bring a little bit more people back into it because it's Star Wars themed. But my problem is that it's Star Wars. They actually did work with Lucasfilms on this, mind you, but it's Star Wars without being Star Wars, because a lot of the stuff that you see, you'll recognize it, but the names are different. Even though I did find out that there's a certain type of armor you can get that looks like Mandalorian armor, and I'm like, I wish I wasn't broke because I want it. Because I'm a Destiny 2 player. I'm very bad at it, but I'm still a Destiny 2 player. And there's even a lightsaber in the game that you can obtain, but it's not called a lightsaber. It's called a Praxic blade, if I'm saying it correctly. But it has the same form and function of a lightsaber. But they're hoping that this will like bring a little more people back into the Destiny 2 crowd, because they did not do very well on the Edge of Fate. And what's so bad is that I was reading through it, because I can't afford the expansion, that the lore is sound. It was just the implementation of all of the gaming mechanics and the buying mechanics that kind of threw everybody like away, like just pushed everybody away from it. But if you want to read more about Devin's insights into Destiny 2, he has a lot of them on the gaming channel. So Total Apex Gaming, I highly recommend you read them. He is very insightful, and he's very good at his job when it comes to researching about this. But that is, yep. So I can, like I said, I have to limit myself. I can wax poetic about gaming every single day, but
that's okay. We're all nerds here. So if you want more gaming news, head to totalapexgaming.com to find articles by Devin and Molly and many other amazing writers. And we'll always keep you up to date on the latest stuff there. Thanks, Molly.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to move on to some lifestyle stuff, and that's me. All right, so y'all know by now that I love some recalls. We don't have anything on fire today, but we do have a rather interesting cheese issue. We have a cheese recall which is covering a lot of states. I'm not going to read them all because there's a lot, and you can see them on the screen. Or you could read about them at totalapexentertainment.com/lifestyles/expanded cheese recall. Where our lovely writer, Miss Becky Cross, has gone ahead and done a full write-up on this particular issue. 1.5 million bags of shredded cheese have been recalled. These were made by a company called Great Lakes Cheese Company out of Ohio, but the cheese was sold in many states in many different stores. So that includes Aldi, Walmart, Target, Publix, and on, and other major retailers as well. It covered the cheeses included are shredded mozzarella, shredded Italian style, shredded pizza style, and shredded mozzarella and Parmesan blends. These were sold under many different brand names because they were sold in so many different stores. So I definitely recommend taking a look at the article for the full list. And you can also go to the other site here we have listed on the left side. That will give you, that's from the FDA, and that has all of the information that you need. These cheeses are being recalled because metal fragments were found in the products. There haven't been any illnesses reported so far, but the FDA has given this set this as a class 2 recall, which is pretty serious. So, yeah, check your refrigerators. And if you have any of the recalled cheeses, either throw them out or take them back to where you purchased them, because do not eat them. It could be dangerous. You don't want any of the potential injury that could be caused by eating metal fragments.
Maybe I recommend a magnet while you're checking, just to make sure.
Yeah, just don't risk it if you've got them.
If you need iron, take the supplement. Don't eat the metal.
Yeah, don't eat random metal fragments. That's bad. It's very bad. All right. So this next one, though, is no laughing matter for sure. So this is a very important one. It was reported on by our writer, Alicia Fournier. Glucose monitors made by Abbott under the name Freestyle Libre 3 and Freestyle Libre 3 Plus have malfunctioned. Some of them are malfunctioning and providing incorrect low glucose readings. This is very bad for anyone with diabetes. You already know why it's bad. For everyone else, if the glucose monitor is saying that their blood sugar is low, that could lead the person to consuming something with additional sugar to bring up their glucose. And doing that could cause them to become ill. There have been more than 700 serious injuries and even 7 deaths tied to this malfunction. So this is super serious. You should definitely check into it if you use these devices. It's the actual sensors that you would wear on your body, not the apps or or anything like that. So head to freestylecheck.com for further information. If you use these, you can also find our full article on our website as well. So just be safe, folks. These are, tell your loved ones.
Yeah, tell everybody. Honestly, I'll just tell everybody, because word of mouth is better than somebody not hearing the news from anybody else. So
yeah, no doubt, exactly. And so if you head to our website and share this article and help to get that news around, that could really help save a life. Mm-hmm. For those folks who may not have heard, because this is really, really bad. All right, that's it for our recalls. The last thing I wanted to talk to today is supporting a partner who's struggling with seasonal blues. And this could honestly apply not just to a partner, but a very good friend or anybody in your life who is struggling with this, because it's a real thing. And for those of us who live in parts of the country that are cold right now and dark and gloomy. Yeah, exactly. You can see us. We're like,
Well, I mean, even in like Florida, and like I've heard it's gotten cold down there too. So
It has. I'm in Georgia, and it is
Yeah,
it is
right.
cold here. It is very cold here for Georgia.
the reduced sunlight and various other factors of winter actually do cause a situation where some people may feel or seem depressed. And it's not just regular depression. This is definitely something to take seriously. Seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, is what it's actually called. And we do have an article on our site as well on this, but basically just keep in mind some basic things when someone you care about is dealing with this. Just be present for them and listen to what they're saying to you, and actually hear what they're saying, because what you think might help might not be what they actually need. Ask them what helps them to feel better. And one of the things that I read was that you should avoid talking about the weather, or not even just avoid talking about the weather. Just be careful how you talk about it, and don't minimize what they're going through. If you can encourage them to get some professional help, go to talk to somebody. Talking to a counselor or a psychologist, somebody that can help, a therapist, is always good advice. Try to be flexible with them. If there are plans and they simply do not feel up to it, you have to be flexible. You should be flexible with them whenever possible. And don't forget to look after yourself at the same time. While you're focused on taking care of them, you do need to take care of yourself as well. Because if you're too run down and you don't have enough left in your bucket, then you can't do any good for them either. We do have one more slide, if you could go.
Actually, can I add one more to this?
Yeah.
This is just from personal experience and everything, and just from what I've heard. It's for you yourself. I'm not saying this is going to be do not go out and start telling your person who is suffering from SAD that they have this issue. But I would recommend, if you yourself feel like you are being affected by it, go to your doctor, your primary care doctor first, and make sure that you are getting enough vitamin D in your system.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the low levels of sunlight, we're like plants, for crying out loud. We need the sun to feel better. There's the reason why I get a lot of depressive states sometimes. It's because I am pale as a ghost. I don't get a lot of vitamin D. I stay inside because I burn like a pork chop in the oven. So I do not get a lot of sunlight, and that does affect my mood when I don't get enough vitamin D, and it actually can hurt your health if you don't have enough of it. But that is from my own personal experience. Please don't go out just saying, oh, you just need some vitamin D. That is minimizing the depressional disorder that these people are going through. I'm just saying, for yourself, ask your doctor if it's a vitamin D deficiency. But if not, then you can talk about the seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah, vitamin D deficiency can affect you in other ways as well, besides just your mood. For example, I myself have to take vitamin D every day because I obviously, look at me, I can't spend too much time in the sun.
We're like vampires.
Even when I can, living way up here in the northern hemisphere, as far north as we do, we don't get enough vitamin D from the sun anyway. So definitely have your doctor help with that. Sun lamp. There are special lamps as well, not a regular suntan lamp. These are special lamps that will provide the effect of the sun. You have to use them as directed, though. You can't just sit under them all day.
Like I said, we are plants. We need good food, water, and sunlight to thrive. Okay.
Now, if you or someone you know needs help, the 988 Lifeline is there for you. It is a suicide and crisis lifeline. I myself have needed a similar service before. There is no shame in asking for help when you reach that point where, if you reach a point where you just don't know what to do and you're so far down, just call or text or go to the website and you can chat with them online. They're there for you. I wanted to include this other one as well because a lot of people don't know about 211. So this is a phone number and also a website, and they can help with all kinds of things like food, housing, utility bills, disaster recovery, healthcare expenses, and mental health concerns. Head to the website and there's actually a link there where you can find services local to you. And this might not be available everywhere, but it's available through a lot of parts of the country or the United States, which is where we are. And so I just wanted to bring that to light as well, because I think we're in a time right now where a lot of folks are struggling. And when you don't know where your next meal is coming from or how to pay your rent, then everything else is that much worse. So utilize these services if you need them. All right. That is what we've got for you today. I hate to leave it on such a down note, but actually, honestly, I see it as a positive thing because you mean something, you're important, and I think it's worth reminding everybody that there's always help out there for you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
Very, very true. But
all right. So thanks everybody for joining us today. We're Total Apex Media Podcast. You can find us at totalapexentertainment.com, totalapexgaming.com, and totalapexsports.com. And Andrew, what's the fantasy one?
Oh, Fantasy and Bets.
Total Apex Fantasy and Bets.
Okay, fantasyandbets.com. There we go.
We're nothing if not consistent with our name.
That's right. That's right. I just couldn't remember how it went.
And also, if you want to follow us, I go by Molly the Game Nerd on all my socials, Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You can follow me on Twitter at PookieKim1357 or on Instagram at KimAndrew1357. And you can find my work at Total Apex Bets and Fantasy and on sports.
And you can find me at michellekits.com, and on YouTube I am known as Aunt Mikey. It's my channel is Aunt Mikey's Place. And we'll see you next week. Thanks again for joining us. Don't forget to click subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss when we go live.
Because that would just be a travesty on your part if that were the case.
That's right. You don't want to miss out.
You don't want to miss us being weird and geeking out over all of our favorite stuff. But we'll see y'all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.